I'm Brian Bender, and let's queer up faith. Italian Catholic Scouts open leadership roles to LGBTQ+ members for the first time. The Italian Association of Catholic Guides and Scouts, known as AGESCI, announced the policy shift in a recent release document. This change came after 3 years of internal debate and consultation. The document said, quote, AGESCI has reached the conclusion that emotional orientation and gender identity cannot constitute exclusion criteria in the discernment that community leaders are called upon to exercise when adults request to join the association to play an educational role, end quote. The organization also stated that its mission of welcoming others means, quote, it is essential to promote paths aimed at overcoming homophobic, lesbophobic, and transphobic feelings and attitudes. Such feelings, in fact, constitute an obstacle to the recognition, inclusion, and integration of male and female leaders in our groups and at all levels of the association, end quote. Founded in 1974, AGESCI is Italy's largest scouting and youth organization with more than 182,000 members and over 33,000 leaders as of 2024, including around 2,000 priests. Previously, LGBTQ+ people could participate in scouting activities, but were barred from educational leadership positions. During consultations that began in 2022, the organization collected testimonies from LGBTQ+ members describing experiences of exclusion and prejudice. The move comes weeks after the Vatican's 2026 Synod report acknowledged the, quote, pain and profound suffering, end quote, experienced by LGBTQ+ Catholics, particularly those subjected to conversion therapy. I think this is a win for the community. I think those Italian boys and girls and non-binary and non-conforming and whatever you want to say, whatever identity they have, they are going to really benefit from having people that represent them in their scouting community. So I think it's wonderful.
And I think that credit should be made to Pope Francis, who the process started under him, and of course now continued under Pope Leo, who is a Francis protege. We are seeing a revival of social liberalism inside the Catholic hierarchy, and that's a good thing. Ever since, Pope John Paul II was notoriously conservative, followed by Benedict, who is, another one who came from the office, literally the office of Inquisition. No matter what they call it in the States, that started with the office of Inquisition. And now with Francis and Leo, we are seeing more active, socially progressive popes and changing the leadership within the Catholic hierarchy. Now, the next step is for Leo to come out and tell the archbishops that they must stop promoting, or at least actively discourage conversion therapy for all the parish priests.
Yeah.
We just have one of the bishops just show up at the white nationalist rally not too long ago.
Really?
It's one of the prayer rallies on the National Mall. Yeah, we covered that story
I wasn't there that night. I wasn't invited that night.
No, I don't think any one of us were invited for that particular.
But it's interesting that something so progressive is occurring as Italy itself is being ruled by Giorgia Meloni's conservative government. It just seems like such an interesting... And it's also, I'm interested in that phrase, emotional orientation. Now, we think that might be a translation issue, but I actually think that's... I wonder if that's being used to make queerness more palatable to
Can
Catholics.
I ask you, what's your emotional orientation?
Queer.
Okay. What's your emotional orientation? Fun. What's yours, Bobby?
Gay as hell.
Gay as hell? What's your slur?
He just stole my line.
He did? Okay,
yes.
Well, you'll have to think of another one.
Yeah, well, I'm here and I'm queer.
You're here? Okay, that's your emotional orientation.
Yes.
Yeah, we weren't sure if that was a translation.
The other thing I'll say, though, on this is it's interesting to see, Italy, which is, you don't think of it as the bastion of the left right now.
No.
But they're moving forward on queer rights, including making sure to include trans people, while trans people in America are being put into a horrific situation.
You said you weren't going to get negative tonight, but okay.
When
lay
I say that,
lay
our
it
viewers
on us.
expect a certain thing out of
That's
me.
true.
You know,
I told him before we started.
This is just yet
always
another
negative.
example of America could do better.
That's true.
By all
Yes.
means,
That's
yeah.
true. Does anybody have anything else they'd like to add, Larry? Anything to that?
I think it's all been said by these wonderful speakers here at our table tonight.
All right, everybody. There is no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by sharing them and subscribing to Queer News Tonight.